Reality check man from your device and you know it's Aromatic Realistic TV. Anyway, people, today without any further ado, let's talk about some of our leaders of the past, and now we are talking about present. First, let's start with the Jamaica Labour Party. And a lot of people say that they are dieted to this and they are dieted to that. But I want to remind them something. That the former Prime Minister for the Jamaica Labour Party to the current no mean the Jamaica people no good. I will repeat, the former Prime Minister and leader of the Jamaica Labour Party and current has never mean the people of Jamaica no good. So when people say dieted what? And where? And how can you be dieted to a system wanna count you? A system will reject you. A system will only lift up the 1% of Jamaica. The elites, the private sectors. You the reject the vulnerable, the deplorable. Them no count to no. You no want nothing to them. So how can you be dieted and so committed to a system that rejects you? A system that don't count you. A system that undermine you at all times. You see what I mean? I'm talking the Jamaica Labour Party, bro. So we start with Alexander Bustamante. And in 1962 leading up to 63, seeing when them persecute Rastafarian in Jamaica. 1962 leading up into 63, the Coral Garden Massacre. Where them persecute Rasta in Jamaica, trim them, kill them, lock them up, do them all kind of things. You see what I mean? Because remember, you know, they said that they want the Coral Garden land down in a Montego Bay to develop for tourism. And they go and say it's gonna be a no-go zone for Rastafarian. So what that is telling you from day one, the GLP brings segregation against the Jamaican people in them one country. When you go tell Rastaman say Coral Garden is only for tourists only, and you can't go there. So you see it here from day one, the Jamaica Labour Party. They discriminate Jamaica. They tell them say you can't go here, so you can't go there, so. Under the likes of Bustamante. Rasta run we go in a bush like a wild animal. Torture them. Murder them. Detain who for detain. Prison who for prison. It was under the Jamaica Labour Party government. Who was at the helm of it? Bustamante. You see what I mean? We just remind the Jamaican people them of who uno say uno dieted to. Let's move forward to 1980. And now we are talking about the mastermind Edward Seaga. With people like Bruce Golding, Pernell Charge, Ken Barr, Aswell Harding, the Babs Grange, the Edmund Bartlett them. And Seaga was the main architect behind that, who was the first to introduce machine gun, military style weapon to the youth of Jamaica to fight against them one another. I will repeat, the architect of Edward Seaga with his cronies, Bruce Golding, Pernell Charge, Tan Peralta, Aswell Harding, the Ken Barr, the Babs Grange, and the Edmund Bartlett them were the first to distribute machine gun and military style weapon to the Jamaican youths them to fight against them one another in the 1980s. That was under the Jamaican Labour Party. Let's move on and talk about Bruce Golding in the 2010 Tivoli incursion and the Tivoli massacre. When hundreds of Jamaicans lose their life because what? Bruce Golding of the indictment from the United States for more than 6 months for Dudus and sit down on it. Until it caused a massacre where hundreds of Jamaicans lose them life because of what? The incompetency of Bruce Golding. But in spite of that, what those leaders have done to the country, they did not sell out the country like this one do. We overcome the Alexander Bustamante persecution of Rastafari. We overcome the 1980 of Edward Seaga issuing machine gun and military style weapon to our youth to fight against our one another. We have overcome the Bruce Golding negligence to bring the indictment for them take away Christopher Dudut's court. We have overcome that. But what we can't overcome is the Prime Minister Andrew Holness, who's selling out Jamaica for nickel and dime. It's gonna take Jamaica a decade when Andrew Holness and the Labour right them and the administration finish with Jamaica. It's gonna take decade to rebuild back Jamaica, you know. I'm telling you, you know. Jamaica now going easy to build back, you know. After them people are done with it, you know, brother. And want to show how wicked and cruel and devious this brother Andrew Holness is. In the heights of the pandemic, the man gets $750 million. I said in the heights of the pandemic, Andrew Holness gets $750 million. Make I remind you, from the Inter-American Development Bank, from the World Bank, from the IMF, International Monetary Fund, to give to the people of Jamaica who were suffering through that tough time of that pandemic. He gives some of the people one of the time $10,000. And the next thing that we heard about it, it was that Christopher Tufton steal or misplaced 400 million out of that COVID relief money. So how can somebody now come tell me about diverted and diverted to Jamaica Labour Party? You cannot be diverted to the nurses and the doctors. The nurses and the doctors that have to save for your life, your pitney life, your grandpitney life, your cousin life. Because remember, I uno use the Cornwall Regional Hospital, I uno use the Bustamante Children's Hospital, I uno use KPH and the little local clinic and the hospital them around. I uno use them, the rich people them, the politicians them of Jamaica, no use them. As them feel them finger hurt them fly out and them gone overseas. When somebody from the ghetto, the garrison, the reject, the deplorable, the vulnerable, the low income, need an emergency surgery, what the first thing they have to do? Took to social media and do what? Set up a GoFundMe. Because they don't have the money to go and do that surgery, much less to buy a plane fare if you left out of the island. So, oh, you are not diverted to the nurse and the doctors who are saving your life because you use the deplorable hospital them. What the nurse and the doctor them in, and you're not loyal and diverted to them. You are not diverted to the police who is there to serve and protect you. So when somebody they come to try to in an altercation with you, want to take for your life without a cause, you have to run to the police and the police come to your rescue. You are not diverted for the police, but you are diverted for Andrew Holness and his administration. You are not diverted for the teachers who educate the entire Jamaica so that we can have a better society for the generation and the generation and the generation to come. You are not diverted to them. You don't go there and protest with them. But you can stand in Andrew Holness' corner and say you are diverted. Andrew Holness, who is not paying the nurse, the doctors, he's not paying the police, the soldiers. He's not paying the teachers, civil servant, public servant, the firefighters, the immigration officers. He's not paying them. who is protecting and serving you, the Jamaican people. They cater for you every day. But the Prime Minister of Jamaica can give themselves 200% increase in their salary. And he had a 32 cronies them were in a parliament. What you get, what you're left with. A big tax. A big tax bill. Taxpayers have to fork out more money. So if he did care about you, who say you are dieted, if Andrew Holness did care about you, who claims that you are dieted, he would have paid the police so the police can serve and protect you. If Andrew Holness won't care about you, you would pay the nurse and the doctors that when you're sick and your granny sick and your pitney sick, and you go in a KPH or Kingston Public or Cornwall Regional or Donga Sava or Falmouth, you can get treated and take care of. But you're calling yourself dieted. Dieted. You understand? And some of you, dieted, vagabond, nincompoop, baboon, jackass, dunce and illiterate. Your mind space, your thinking ability is as low as from the bullfrog belly to the ground. And slime ball like Uno make Jamaica the way how it is. Then a dieted bro God. Like bro gods give a hef about you guys. Look what's taking place in Jamaica. You guys don't have proper infrastructure. We're talking about roads, bridges, lights, waters, jobs for growth and development. Nothing like that taking place in Jamaica, but yet still you have a prime minister who is pushing digital currency, and you, who 70% of you not even have a bank account. Digital currency pan uno. And someone till dieted, bro God, this and that. Slime bag, loose cannon, zombies, walking dead. No for uno down there, but you know a dieted. Eh? Uno na in a back of class, you know. When class they keep no for uno, they are crab bush. So uno not even a mark present on the ready station. Uno never mark present on the registration. Because when class they keep uno gone a crab bush. Sub 000. Dieted. Uno chink. Slime ball. Zombies. Loose cannon. They mash up Jamaica. Uno dieted. We're tired of uno. We're tired of uno. So no dieted. And the man they will wreck the country and they run the country over a cliff. Eh? Or can you believe a man like this who come out and tell you last week that we are pushing full steam ahead towards digitalization? Our military are moving, our banks and the government rapidly moving into digital currency. And after the backlash, you come back the next week and say, how could you so stupid figure print up a bunch of money and then turn around not using it? You want a cooler piece of shit than that, brother. And believe say, boy, every Jamaican a fool. We are not fool, bro. You tell the country we are moving rapidly into the digital space. And then you come back and tell what that have to do. They print money in Nigeria same way. But guess what? They are giving the people limited amount of money. So it doesn't make any sense, bro. And them thing that we are talking about. So me just a remind you know. At the GLP, you know. Administration and prime ministers of the past and present who no claim who no dieted to because who no claim say them love you know, and they are working on behalf of the Jamaican people. It has never been so. No time at all in history that is there to prove that the Jamaican Labour Party is always for the poor, the reject, the vulnerable, the deplorable of Jamaica. It has never been like that in the history of Jamaica. The Jamaica Labour Party support the 1%, which is the rich people of Jamaica. That's who the Jamaica Labour Party support. They never support the poor people. Go back and check on Bustamante. Go and do no research. Don't take it from me, brother. You know, have a big iPhone and Android them. Just look up here and go up and Google up and search for Bustamante them. The Siaga them, the Bruce Golden them, and the answer them go and come up, brother. Is the same Bustamante crucify Rastafari down there in a Montego Bay and tell Rastafari so them will develop out a Coral Garden for tourists and Rasta can't come out there. It was the same Bruce Golden, the same Edward Siaga, them introduced machine gun and military style weapon to the youth of Jamaica to fight against them one another. It was the incompetent of Bruce Golden in the Tivoli massacre. Sit down on the indictment for more than 6 months and make hundreds of Jamaicans lose their life. And it was the wickedness and the cruelness of the bro God who in the heights of the pandemic gets $750 million and I'm going to give the Jamaica, some of the Jamaican people them 10,000 one time. And only to find out that Christopher Tufton has misplaced 400 million out of the COVID relief that was allocated through the Inter-American Development Bank, the World Bank, and the IMF International Monetary Fund to distribute for the poor and the vulnerable reject of Jamaica. They didn't get that money, bro. They didn't get that money. So when you know come tell me about Dieted what? To assist him on account, you know? Assist him or reject, you know? You are dieting to that system. Eh? As I said before, some of mental space, our thinking ability is so low, it's even lower than the bullfrog from the bullfrog belly to the ground. That's where some of you guys' mind space are. And now, who know? They mash up Jamaica and we're tired of who know. We say that without apology. Anyway, remember, you know, stay tuned to Aromatic Realistic TV. Like and share. Follow me over YouTube. Help us to spread the message. Because we don't keep it as a secret, you know. We don't want it for ourselves. Them say each one teach one. Don't walk and live good. Treat your fellow Jamaican with respect. God and good road. I'm out. Heart of love. Boom.